Hi there, my name is Nikki. Welcome back to my channel with her nose stuck in a book. I recently done a video where I showed you all the kind of bookish presents that I got for my birthday. I also got quite a lot of book tokens for my birthday, book vouchers for Waterstones and stuff. So I thought I would show you my book haul from there and all the books that I bought with those. I mostly got kind of classics because I don't know if I mentioned in a previous video that I joined the Hardcore Literature Book Club, and I am studying literature at the moment online. So I have been reading quite a few classics for both of those. So obviously there's book lists on both of those, so I bought quite a lot of the books I need for those. Also, since I started reading the classics again, there's a reason why they are the classics, so I've got really kind of into them, so I bought a lot of those. Currently I'm reading Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy, which I'm reading very slowly because I want to take it all in. I'm taking notes and stuff as I go, and I'm reading the Three Musketeers by Alexandra Dumas, which I am enjoying so much more than I thought I would. I thought it would just be like a kind of boys' adventure story with swords, but it's so funny. D'Artagnan is like so funny. So yeah, I'm really enjoying both of those. I will go through the books that I have got with you. So first one I've got here is Bram Stoker's Dracula. Obviously one of the original vampire novels. I thought this would be good to read in October for Halloween season. And then in the same vein, this is actually on the Hardcore Literature book list for this year, with Benjamin McAvoy. If you haven't checked his videos out, I thoroughly recommend you do. He guides you through reading the great books, not just classic books, but like there's more kind of modern books, but like Cormac McCarthy and things like that, Toni Morrison, but he teaches you how to read them more deeply. For the Halloween reads in that book club, we are going to be doing The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson, Scottish author as well, so that will tick off a box on my reading more Scottish authors. So looking forward to that one. Speaking of Cormac McCarthy, I have Blood Meridian, which is also on the Hardcore Literature book list. I've heard that this is a very difficult read in terms of the content. The only other Cormac McCarthy I've read is The Road, which was obviously quite harrowing, but I've heard that this is a brilliant book, but again very difficult in terms of the content, and that Judge Holden is one of the greatest villains in literature. Like, so I'm looking forward to this, but also a bit scared because I have heard things about it. Crime and Punishment, as I said, I'm reading Anna Karenina right now, and I thought, obviously Anna Karenina is by Leo Tolstoy, and then Crime and Punishment is by Fyodor Dostoevsky, who is the other big Russian literature guy. I have read this before, but I read it kind of very quickly on audio, the translation I had wasn't, I wouldn't have said, I don't think it was great. So I have got the Pivert and Volonsky translation. They are really good translators, and I'm looking forward to reading this next because I've heard all good things about it, and I'm really enjoying the Russian literature that I'm reading right now. I also got this is a newer book. It's called The Tower by Flora Carr, and it's about Mary Queen of Scots when she's imprisoned by Elizabeth I, and it's about 3 women and basically how they try and help her escape from the tower. I love historical fiction, particularly about female historical figures, and I kind of like it when they twist the history a bit and play with it, so I'm looking forward to that. I also got Don Quixote by Cervantes. If you have ever watched any of Benjamin McAvoy's YouTube videos or his Patreon or his podcasts or anything, he literally mentions this book in every single video. He loves it. And it's not something that I would ever have picked up, but having started reading the classics, I now realise that doesn't mean that I wouldn't enjoy it, because there's been so many that I would have thought I would have hated and I have actually loved. So in the same vein as like the Three Musketeers and stuff, I think this will be similar in terms of it's like, yes, it's like a kind of adventure story and stuff, but very funny. And it's a very long book, but a lot of the classics are. So I'm looking forward to exploring that and seeing what it's about. The thing with the classics are you don't need to read them all in one, like you can read some, put them down, read something else, like read a kind of less taxing book, like pick up something more modern, read it, and then go back to the classic. You don't have to read them quickly. You can take your time with them, which is what the Hardcore Literature Book Club teaches you to do, like to read more, to slow down with your reading and to get more out of it and read more deeply. So yeah, even though I've got all these, that doesn't mean I will be reading them all in the next 6 months, year, whatever. It might take me a long time to read them all, but that's kind of the point. Next up's another new novel, newish novel, and it's called Mary or the Birth of Frankenstein by Anne Echout. And it's basically the kind of story of how Mary Shelley writes Frankenstein, which I really like. I really like when authors take a classic work and then make another story out of it. So like for instance, recently we've had James, which is from like the story of Jim from Huckleberry Finn, and we've had Julia, which is Julia's version of 1984. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this because I just love the idea behind it. And then I got a couple of more Russian. So I got A Calendar of Wisdom by Leo Tolstoy, and this is basically a book he was working on up until his death, and it's just a page a day for each day of the year with quotes that he's collected. So yeah, it's like one of those ones you can just pick up each day and you're reading a few quotes, and and you're getting, I love collecting quotes. I don't know if anybody else does that, any of you do that, but yeah, so I picked that up because I thought it would be quite interesting. And then because I'm reading Anna Karenina right now, after each section there's a kind of lecture on that, and there's recommendations for things to read off the back of that, and one of them is some of the stories, the short stories of Anton Chekhov. So there's 4 different short stories, and I found this volume in Waterstones, and it has all 4 of them in the same volume, which is brilliant, because when I was looking online at the Oxford Classic versions, I would have had to buy 4 different books of short stories to get those four short stories. So when I saw this in Waterstones, I was like, I'm picking that up, because it's basically all the stories I need in one volume. So that's my first Waterstones bag empty. Next up is a few plays that I bought, I believe. No, these are not plays, sorry. These are, yeah, sorry, these are not the plays. I thought I bought a few plays to read, but these are just shorter books. So I got The Old Man in the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. I watched a video by Tristan and the Classics, and it was about like kind of shorter classics that you can read to that you can read in a day or over a few days or whatever. And this came up, and he was basically saying that he thinks that this is Hemingway's best work. It's about a man who hasn't went fishing for a while. He's not caught fish in a while, and he basically goes out to sea and decides to catch a fish, but not in the way like Moby Dick where he's like chasing down one particular fish. He's just out fishing, and apparently it's really beautiful to read. So I have not read any Ernest Hemingway at all, so yeah, I'm excited to read that. I got Breakfast at Tiffany's by Truman Capote. I have read this, but many years ago. I think about 20 years ago. And I remember loving it. It's actually got 4 stories in it, because Breakfast at Tiffany's is only about 90 pages long, 100 pages long. And then it's got some more short stories in here. I loved it when I read it. I love the film, minus the like racist portrayal in it. We'll pretend that doesn't exist. But yeah, I wanted to revisit it, so I got that, and I'm looking forward to rereading that and seeing if it's as good as I remember. In the same vein, I also bought The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie by Muriel Spark. Again, read it in uni, I think. Yeah, for a Scottish lit class. And I remember really liking it. It could be in the dark academia trope. But yeah, again, wanted to revisit it and see if it still holds up the way it did when I first read it. Sometimes I think when you read classics as an older person, like once you've lived a little, like they actually hit you more because you've got more life experience. So yeah, we'll see what these two do. Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. This, I saw the recommendation for this in a video by Amy, who's a great booktuber, and the way she described it, I was just like, I want to go and buy this book right now. And it's basically about a great kind of warrior from Africa. He's like the greatest warrior. he's the strongest, and he's like famous, and one day he accidentally kills a clansman, which you're not allowed to do, so he's banished. So yeah, his life begins to fall apart, so hence things fall apart. And then when he returns years later from his exile, he finds his village very much changed. Missionaries and colonial governors have moved into his village, and they're changing the way of life, pushing their own ideas and way of life on the people, and it's just it's just a bit rubbish. So it's meant to be quite tragic, this book, but I think very important in terms of colonialism and the history of that. So yeah, really looking forward to that. Again, quite a short book, 150 pages. Then some here. I got Arthur Miller, A View from a Bridge. My daughter went to see this at the end of last school year, and she said it was brilliant, but like it's wild. So she encouraged me to read the play, so I've bought that, and I will do that very soon, because now she knows that I bought it. She keeps asking me if I've read it, so that's like on a to-do list for very soon. This is The Turn of the Screw by Henry James. Again, another kind of spookier classic for the September-October months. Again, very short. So yeah, hoping to read that in the run up to Halloween. Then we have Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. This is another one on the Hardcore Literature Book Club list, and I believe it's a kind of Eastern novel, like a kind of spiritual story. Don't know much about it, but I am looking forward to finding out. Then I got In Search of Lost Time by Proust, Volume 1. I have heard that this is very difficult to read, and you will read it very slowly. I have heard that people take like a day over just one page, so quite intimidated by this one, but we'll give it a go and we'll see. I think there's like 6 volumes in this, 7 maybe, I don't know, but this is just like volume 1 of In Search of Lost Time. So yeah, and then I have Jaws by Peter Benchley. Again, I have read this, but the film is 50 years old this month, the end of this month, and I thought, why not reread it? Like it's a good. I really like this book, and when I read it, so yeah, I'm going to give this a reread, to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the film. So I think the book was 50 last year, and then the film is 50 this year. And then I have this little book here, which I just picked up because I thought looked interesting, and it's called Around the Book World in 80 Books, and it's by David Damrosch, and it's basically just going around the world, and it's about the kind of writers and books from different places in the world. So I thought that was quite an interesting wee look at world literature. And then I got The Flowers of Evil by Charles Baudelaire, who's a French poet, and a number of the poems in this got banned for being obscene. The reason I picked this up is because, again, in Anna Karenina, Anna his husband is reading a book, and although Tolstoy doesn't call it The Flowers of Evil, the implication is that it is this book. And yeah, so it was recommended that you pick it up, give the poems a little read through. There was 6 specifically that were banned, and were banned right up to the 1900s for obscenity. This volume has the French and the English, so the French is down one side and the English is down the other. I do not speak French, so I will be reading the English pages, but that was the way that the volume came. And then I've got this book, Old School by Tobias Wolff, which again, I bought this second hand, and again, it was a book I read when I was at university, and I really, really enjoyed it, and I wanted to get it and give it a reread. I think next year, over like the next few months in next year, I will be trying to reread a lot of things that I read back when I was younger, because I just want to see if, since reading some of the classics, so I read Jane Eyre, and I was just like, oh my god, this is amazing, and I had read it at uni, and I don't remember thinking it was that great when I read it at uni. I don't know if it was just because I was reading it for uni, that way, you don't, when you have to read something for school and it's like a chore. So I reread Jane Eyre when I was recovering from, I had my appendix out earlier in the year, and I was recovering from that, and I reread Jane Eyre, and I was just like, this book is amazing. So I want to kind of revisit some of the books that I read years ago, and just see what they give me this time round. So I really enjoyed this. Again, it's set in a kind of school setting, so yeah, interesting to see what that's like second time round. And last but not least, I have a hardback copy of The 13th Tale. So I've ordered this second hand, and this is for my new bookshelves. So I got new bookshelves a month or so ago, and I've put all my books up. I spent ages placing them all, got my ornaments and plants and stuff on the bookshelves. I'll maybe do a wee video of a bookshelf tour, but I have a few kind of special edition copies of some of my favourite books, and they are kind of standing up, facing out on the shelves, and I wanted to collect a few more of them to dot around my shelves. Plus I'm getting more new bookshelves for my haul, so I do need I don't need books to fill it, because I have books that will fill it, but I need more kind of display copies of these. So I got The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield, because although this is not a classic book, it's a fairly modern book. It was the early 2000s, I think, it came out. I just love this book. I could not put it down, and the twists in it are insane. I loved this. So I'm going to actually reread my paperback copy of it, but I wanted a copy of it to sit as a display copy on my shelves, standing up. So that is why I bought that, and that, I believe, is my birthday book haul. So again, if you gave me book vouchers for my birthday, thank you very much. You have made me a very happy lady. As you can see, I got my money's worth out of them. I've got 2, 4, 6, 22 books out of it, which isn't quite bad. How long it'll take me to get through all those books, I cannot tell you. It might be 22 years, but yeah, very happy lady. So again, thank you very much for my birthday gifts, and I will see you soon. Thank you. Bye.